What if I told you that the phrase liberté, égalité, fraternité, which is now the national motto of France, was born out of a violent and chaotic revolution? Welcome to a journey through time, a journey that takes us back to the late 18th century, to the dawn of the French Revolution. Picture an era when France was a nation in tumult. The air was thick with discontent, the streets heavy with the weight of inequality. The nobility and clergy lived lives of opulence and extravagance, while the common people bore the brunt of economic hardship. The seeds of revolution were sown in this fertile ground of disparity. The financial crisis that gripped the country was the spark that ignited the flame. France was steeping in debt thanks to years of war and excessive spending. The common people, the Third Estate, were taxed heavily while the nobility enjoyed exemptions. This economic turmoil stirred the simmering pot of social unrest, bringing it to a boiling point. But it wasn't just the economic and social conditions that fanned the flames of revolution. The winds of change were blowing across Europe, carrying with them the ideas of the Enlightenment. These radical notions about democracy, human rights, and sovereignty of the people were the intellectual tinder that ignited the revolutionary fire. The common people were no longer willing to be mere spectators in a game played by the nobility. They wanted a voice, a say in the matters of state. They yearned for liberté, égalité, fraternité, liberty, equality, and fraternity. And they were willing to fight for it. The stage was set. The actors were ready. The script, though unwritten, was clear. It was time for change. It was time for revolution. The French Revolution was not an event. It was a process, a journey that began with a spark of discontent and grew into a blaze that would engulf a nation and change the course of history forever. And so the stage was set for a revolution that would change the course of history. On July 14, 1789, the revolution truly began with a bang. Picture the scene. A fortress known as the Bastille, standing tall and ominous, a symbol of the king's absolute power and royal tyranny. But on this day, it was under siege. The Bastille was more than just a prison. It was a potent symbol of everything the revolutionaries despised about the old regime. It was a stark reminder of the unchecked power of the monarchy, the rampant corruption, and the suffocating grip of the aristocracy. But the storming of the Bastille was not just a fight against a building, it was a fight against an idea. It all started with the gathering of an angry mob armed with anything they could find: pitchforks, axes, and a burning desire for change. They had had enough of their grievances being ignored, of their cries for justice falling on deaf ears. It was time for action. The fortress was guarded by a mere handful of men, vastly outnumbered by the crowd. Despite their attempts to negotiate, the crowd was relentless. The revolutionaries demanded the release of the prisoners and the surrender of the fortress. The guards, seeing the futility of resistance, eventually gave in. The storming of the Bastille was a victory for the people. It was a clear message to the monarchy and the aristocracy that the people were no longer willing to be oppressed. It was a declaration of their power, their unity, and their unbreakable spirit. But more than that, it was a symbolic act. The Bastille, once a symbol of royal authority, was now a symbol of the revolution. Its fall was the first major event of the revolution, a spark that ignited the flame of change. The fall of the Bastille marked the end of the old regime and the start of a new era. It was a turning point, a moment that forever changed the course of history. From this point forward, there was no going back. The revolution was in full swing, and it was only just beginning. But revolutions are rarely bloodless. The French Revolution was no exception. As the revolutionary fervor engulfed France, a chilling chapter unfolded, known as the Reign of Terror. It was a time when fear became the order of the day and the guillotine the instrument of justice. The Reign of Terror was instigated by the Committee of Public Safety, a group of 12 who held the fate of France in their hands. At the helm was Maximilien Robespierre, a man driven by a relentless pursuit of a utopian republic free from corruption and inequality. However, this pursuit took a dark turn. The committee, under Robespierre's leadership, began to view anyone who disagreed with their vision as enemies of the republic. The guillotine became a symbol of this paranoia, severing the lives of nearly 40,000 people in less than a year. The Reign of Terror was not just about fear and bloodshed, it was also a time of radical political change. The committee enacted laws to control prices and wages, tried to de-Christianize society, and even introduced a new calendar. But the Reign of Terror couldn't last forever. The French people, exhausted by the constant dread and economic instability, turned against the committee. In a twist of fate, Robespierre himself was sent to the guillotine, marking the end of this terrifying era. The Reign of Terror's impact was profound. It exposed the dangers of radicalism and the devastating consequences of unchecked power. Yet it also showed the lengths to which people would go to protect their newfound freedom. The Reign of Terror was a dark chapter in the revolution, a stark reminder of the cost of unchecked power. As we move on to the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte, let's remember the lessons of this era. That power without restraint can lead to terror, and even the noblest of intentions can be twisted by fear. Out of the ashes of the Reign of Terror, a new leader emerged, Napoleon Bonaparte. This Corsican-born military genius seized power in a coup d'etat in the year 1799, establishing himself as the first consul of France. Napoleon was far from being just a military man. He was a shrewd strategist and a reformer. He swiftly restored order to the chaos-ridden French society, implementing a series of reforms that touched every aspect of French life. He restructured the education system, modernized finance, and reformed the legal system, culminating in the establishment of the Napoleonic Code. This civil code became a blueprint for legal systems worldwide, introducing concepts like equality before the law and the right to choose one's profession. But Napoleon's ambitions didn't stop at France's borders. He expanded his empire across Europe, from Spain to Russia, leaving an indelible mark on the continent's history. He introduced the metric system, abolished feudalism, and spread the ideals of the French Revolution: liberty, equality, and fraternity far and wide. Yet his thirst for power also led to the oppression of many nations, sparking widespread resistance and eventually leading to his downfall. Napoleon's reign came to an end in 1815 with his defeat at the Battle of Waterloo. He was exiled to the remote island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic, where he lived out his final years. But even in defeat, his legacy lived on. The reforms he implemented, the code he established, and the ideas he spread had already taken root, forever transforming the landscape of Europe. Napoleon's rule may have ended, but his impact on France and Europe was far from over. His story is a testament to the power of ambition and the enduring influence of revolutionary ideals. As we continue our journey through the French Revolution, remember, history is not just about dates and events, it's about the people who shape it and the legacy they leave behind. The French Revolution was not just a historical event, it was a turning point that shaped the world as we know it. An era that brought forth the birth of modern democracy, redefined human rights, and set the stage for social justice movements. In the aftermath of the revolution, France underwent dramatic changes. The monarchy fell, and in its place, the French people established a republic, embracing the principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity. This new political landscape was not without its challenges, but it marked a decisive shift away from the absolute power of monarchs and towards a society where the voice of the people held sway. The French Revolution also played a critical role in advancing human rights. The Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen, a powerful testament to the revolutionary spirit, became a cornerstone for human rights globally. It proclaimed the principles of freedom, equality, and justice as universal rights, influencing future documents like the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Moreover, the revolution was a catalyst for social change. It challenged the established social hierarchy, empowering the common people to demand equality and justice. This revolutionary spirit has endured over the centuries, inspiring countless social justice movements worldwide. From the fight against slavery to the struggle for women's rights and the ongoing battle for equality in all its forms, the echoes of the French Revolution can still be felt today. Indeed, the legacy of the French Revolution extends far beyond the borders of France. Its influence has permeated every corner of the globe, shaping our understanding of democracy, human rights, and social justice. It serves as a potent reminder of the power of the people to challenge injustice and effect change. The echoes of the French Revolution can still be heard today, reminding us of the power of the people to change the world. It's a testament to the enduring spirit of revolution, a beacon of hope for all those who strive for a more equitable and just world.